On this week's episode, we talk about our experience as bridesmaids being in weddings.
Yes, we have been in quite a few weddings, and we're going to talk about how being legally blind and chronic illness and all of that affects us being in weddings. It's going to be funny and interesting, I think.
So stick around.
Hello, and welcome to Rare with Flair,
The podcast where two 20-somethings with the same rare disease are living our best lives. I'm your host, Cassandra.
And I'm your host, Casey. Cass, how have you been?
Really tired.
Really tired.
Really tired.
I feel that.
It's been so busy, particularly because of today's topic. I've been in weddings this year, and we'll get to it. But in the meantime, no, it's been good. It's been really fun, but I also kind of just want to sit around and watch TV and do nothing. I want to be bored.
No, it's a good point. That is being bored. We don't feel that much anymore. But I have a funny story to tell you that I was going to say for this pod. Okay, so it's not that funny, but I listen to this podcast. It's really good. It's about books because I love books, and it's called Books Unbound, and it's hosted by like two best friend women around our age, and their names are Ariel and Raylene. And they were talking today on the episode I was listening to about how their names are kind of similar, like the letters are similar in their names. And I was like, I host a pod with one of my best friends, and I wish our names were like similar like that. And then I was like, they literally are so similar.
We can't abbreviate our names with like without using four letters, because you have to do either like Case or Cass, because Casey and Cassandra begin with the same three letters.
It made me really happy because that was the literal thought that went through my brain, is like, I wish ours were like that. And I was like, wow, they really are. And
they
in fact,
actually
they're
are.
almost like more similar. And then our dogs, Rue and Ro.
I know, it's absolutely perfect. And like when we a little like sneak into our lives, we don't write as much detailed outlines anymore. But like when we would have to do like by our last names, like M and G. It was
yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. What a trip. It's fun though.
So fun.
Also, recently we both, not together because we don't live near each other, but we both saw the Bob's Burgers movie.
Oh, yes. Fun. It was so cute.
Super
so
cute.
Goofy.
Super funny. Yes. Love that. But yeah, besides that, I've had a lot going on and not a lot going on at the same time, I feel like. Not much to report to the pod, I guess.
Yeah, we're both taking trips this week, though.
We are. We're both going out of town at the same time. Not together, unfortunately.
I wish.
However, I'm going to see you like 3 more times this year. And by more, I mean
unbelievable.
We haven't seen each other yet this year. But yeah, it's unbelievable. We're going to see each other quite a lot coming up this year.
What a treat, man. I'm so used to seeing you like once a year or not at all.
I know. I haven't seen you since October. So what a treat. We're excited for today's topic.
It's so funny. We were talking about this and like kind of talking about what we were going to hit on today, and we were like, wow, I have so much to say about this.
So much. Yeah, we have a surprising amount to say about this topic, and it's being in a wedding.
Yeah. Super timely for both of us, too.
It's timely. It's super relevant for both of us. I feel like when you're in your 20s and 30s, you're most likely, maybe not everyone, going to experience being in some weddings. And Cass and I've been in 3 so far. Cass has been in 2, but 1 is coming up. So basically 3 for 3 for both of us.
Woohoo.
And we have so many things about being low vision or chronically ill or whatever that make being in a wedding just like a fun experience for everyone involved.
Well, and it's always fun because like ultimately you're in a wedding because your friend or your sibling is getting married and you're super excited for them and all of that and everything that goes into being in your friend's wedding. But just there are so many funny things that happen.
Oh my gosh,
just us being ourselves.
We had a whole conversation about this just by ourselves for like 30 minutes recently, and we were like dying laughing, and I was like, this is pod material. We have to talk about this on the podcast.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh. And yeah, we've always, I mean, speaking for myself, I've always had a really lovely experience being involved in these weddings, and I'm just so grateful to have been there, and I had a great time in all of them, but there's always like those moments that is going to happen with every wedding you're in, most likely, that are very funny.
Yeah. I think the first one that we could talk about for a long time is taking pictures with the bridal party.
Taking pictures. I could talk about this for the first 30 minutes of this entire episode.
They're almost always outside is the problem. And then remember that we, having Hermansky-Pudlak syndrome, having albinism, we are just so light sensitive. So, Case, let's talk about the different approaches we've taken to take pictures with the wedding party.
Okay, I'll start because I think we've taken some different approaches from each other. So I'll start for myself. I have been in 3 weddings, like I said, and yes, the photos are either taken outside or indoors, like in front of a large window. You know, it's never ideal lighting for it's ideal lighting for a photo, definitely. Oh, yeah. It's not ideal lighting for a person with albinism. I will say, luckily, I think all of the weddings I've been in have been either rainy or overcast that day, just out of pure luck. Like literally pure, but still, I think I need to remind our listeners that even on those days, you can't keep your eyes open. You cannot physically keep your eyes open. Okay, and let's think about the fact that we've just gotten our makeup done. We have makeup on, full face, okay? And
with
our
potentially
eyes,
falsies, because we're wearing false. Like I've worn false lashes at every wedding I've been in so far.
Our eyes start watering just profusely.
It's so
and
sad.
also when we try to smile and look pretty, it is an extremely pained expression of like just annoyed. It looks like we are like constipated and annoyed and sad.
That is the perfect way to describe that.
This is the way I have handled it. I have taken my bride aside. The many brides. Luckily, these brides know us. Obviously, we're in the wedding. And I'm like, listen, we're going to need to tell this photographer about me. And I hate it. And it's so awkward because you don't want to be a nuisance. You don't want to be a burden. But what I did was I made the photographer like literally count down from 3 and tell me when I could open my eyes. And even then, I was barely like squinting them open.
Yeah.
And even then, it's extremely painful. And some people might be like, just open your eyes and deal with the pain. But my eyes physically shut.
I physically cannot keep them. I feel like
cannot.
The funny thing is, I think that they're open. And then I look at the photo and I'm like, my eyes are not open.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Even recently, my cousin got married a few weeks ago, and I wasn't even in the wedding party, but I was in the family photos. Oh, girl, I need to send you a picture of what I look like. I look so bad. Like, my eyes are closed completely. But I know you have taken the sunglasses route, have you not?
I did. Okay, so the weddings that I've been in, the couple... So it's funny because, like, these 2 weddings that I was in were a week apart, literally, like, 3 weeks ago. So it's very recent for me. The first wedding I was in, it was actually rainy, overcast. So
yes, love that.
I was okay, and I could pretty much keep my eyes up because it was actually quite dark outside. Which she wanted to have an outdoor ceremony, which was kind of a bummer for that reason. But for my sake, for opening my eyes in the photos, it worked out. But so for my brother's wedding, which just happened at the Memorial Day weekend, we took pictures outside. It was very bright, very hot that day, but we were in the shade, so. It actually, I did wear sunglasses for a couple of them. Usually, like, with wedding photos, you do, like, with the whole wedding party, and then everybody individually takes a photo with the bride. So in my individual with my sister-in-law, like, I have sunglasses on, but then for the rest of them, I just wore glasses. And they were kind of, so my glasses are transitions. They were sort of starting to darken. But it wasn't too bad because we were in the shade, and it was like a shady little grove. So I I did all right with it, but I'm still squinting a little. I can't
Yeah,
not be
I just,
squinting.
like, I don't know if I can bring myself to wear sunglasses, like, and no shade to you at all. In fact, shade, no pun intended. I just, like, I don't know. It depends on the bride and what. I just don't want to ruin the picture, but that might be me being too overly, like, cautious about the whole thing. Because, like, honestly, we need to protect ourselves, and we are struggling. We are struggling, and like. Have you ever? So your brother's wedding. I'm sorry for not knowing this. I probably should know this. Was it outside or was the actual ceremony outside?
No, so it was in a church.
Okay. No, yes, I knew it was in church because
no, but yes, we took photos outside the reception, which was outside. But
yes.
I'm curious to see how the professional shots turn out because so this was the cost that I weighed in my brain, which is why I decided to wear some sunglasses. It's either try your best and don't wear sunglasses but potentially look in pain, or don't look in pain but be wearing sunglasses, which kind of kills the aesthetic. I don't know.
Right. I know. Well, that's what I was going to say, though, is like, so I've always taken pictures outside with all 3 of the weddings I've been in, but I've never been in an outdoor wedding because the same thing happened to one of my friends where it was supposed to be outdoors and it rained. So we had to move. I was
fully prepared to be wearing sunglasses at the outdoor ceremony because I was not just going to be standing there.
If I was ever in an outdoor ceremony wedding, I think that's my only option. Like, I think for pictures, I can brave it and make it work. But I think if I were in the actual ceremony, I would have to.
Yeah.
And like, of course,
so
like I would kind of care about what the audience thinks. Like, why is that girl wearing sunglasses at this wedding? But then it's like, why would I care what they think?
Exactly. Too? Like, your friend clearly, like, loves you and picked you to be in her wedding. So if she doesn't care, you know, it shouldn't matter to anybody of her, like, family and friends because anyway, it's not even your wedding. I mean, if I got married, I'm not getting married outside, so.
Yeah, I sung at my another cousin's wedding and it was outside and I wore sunglasses to do that, but I feel like that's a little different. I don't know. It is interesting, but yeah, photos, not my favorite part.
It's rough.
Not my favorite. It actually stresses me out. Like, it stresses me out majorly because of that reason. Like, I cannot open my eyes and it's a bad time for everyone involved. And that is no shade to any of the brides I've been in the weddings of because this is every wedding. It has nothing to do. Actually, all of my friends have been super understanding. I've had my friends talk to the photographer. I've had my friends tell me, like, are you okay? Like, is this good for you? All of them have done that for me. So, like, actually, they've been helpful. It's just, like, we can't help the fact that I can't do it. So,
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. But, so thinking of ceremonies, though, let's talk about, like, the wedding procession. How does that go for you?
Okay. So, as far as, like, you know, you have to navigate this place you're in, whether you're outside, at a church, whatever venue you're in. You go to a rehearsal generally the day before, which is good news for us. I love a rehearsal for us because we need that to know where we're going.
I so badly need the rehearsals.
Yes. Most recently, I was in a wedding in January that was in a very large Catholic church with lots of steps. And my friend, the bride, was asking me, like, are you good? Can you see the step? Which is very nice of her. And yeah, you really have to, like, rehearse for that reason. You have a long dress on most of the time. Sometimes it's short. You never know. But, you know, you're, like, might be tripping. Luckily,
you might be wearing heels.
I did have the groom, like the groomsman. Sometimes you walk down alone. Sometimes you walk down with a groomsman. It depends. But, like, I was walking down with the groomsman for this. So, like, he was kind of, like, helping me up the stairs.
Yeah.
What about you, though? Like, any funny stories from that for you?
So the groomsmen I've walked with have actually been, like, really, really sweet and understanding.
Good.
She was my college roommate. So for her wedding, it was one of his friends from college that I was walking with, and we were, like, about the same height too, which was helpful. But he was really sweet, and when we rehearsed together, like, I had Romana with me at the rehearsal. I'll talk about Romana in a minute, but, like, But I wasn't going to be walking down the aisle with her. So he was like, hey, there's a step here, because there was a little step to go outside. And, you know, I just kind of tried to follow his lead the best as I possibly could, because you have to walk at the weird pace for the wedding ceremony where, like, you can't, I mean, I'm a fast walker, so I'm just like, this feels so slow, but you have to walk slow.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah.
So I did my best to follow his lead, and I think the tough part for me is, like, the recessional, when, like, the couple is married, and then kind of the pairs peel off and go back down the aisle. It's hard to know, like, when they're moving toward you.
Yeah.
'Cause depth perception.
Yes, and going down the stairs is harder than going up generally, too.
Yes, because, like, depth perception.
Depth perception, yeah, 100%. Yes, and especially at a Catholic mass wedding, it was lots of up and down, go back to your chair, come back up, go back down, come back up.
That's going to be my wedding in July, so I'm hoping for the best.
And it was fine. I've never had a horror story with that. Like, it was generally fine. But I think we just have to we have to be a little more aware of that than the average human would be.
With my brother's wedding, I actually walked with 2 groomsmen because I think we were down 1 bridesmaid, and so I walked with my sister-in-law's cousin, and he was super sweet. Like, he was also really helpful, and then, like, just I've had guys that have been very, like, helpful and, like, trying to be as accommodating as possible for the very brief moment that you guys are walking together. So yes. I think, like, that actually goes, like, such a long way. So shout out to the helpful groomsmen.
Shout out to those helpful groomsmen. Couldn't do it without you.
Right.
So what about just in general? I'm not even talking about the actual, like, wedding itself, but, like, the whole time. Do you have any stories about being able to see what's going on? Seeing the bride and groom? Because I do. Because I definitely do. But, like, seeing the bride and groom, seeing the whole event itself, it's almost like watching a play. You can't always see what's going on when you're there.
There ain't no audio description here.
No, there's no audio description for this wedding.
Yeah, so actually, I have a really funny story. So at my college roommate's wedding, you know, they did a first look where the bride and groom see each other before the ceremony, and they take some photos together, and it's sweet and cute and whatever. So I think my microphone is picking up my AC unit, so sorry if you guys hear that. But anyway, geez, okay. Anyway, so her sister, she had 2 sisters that were, like, co-maids of honor. They were helping her in her dress, and we were kind of rushing because everything's always a rush in a wedding. And I was, like, dabbing off the bottoms of the bridesmaid and bridal bouquets because they were in water and they were going to drip all over us. And so I, like, dabbed off the bridal bouquet and I kind of hung on to it. And then the photographer comes in and she's like, we're going to do the first look. And so then my friend, the bride, starts to go and I'm like, do you want the bouquet? They're like, yes, come. And I was like, oh, cool.
Oh,
So I got to actually go to their first look.
aww.
And it was cute, but I couldn't really see it.
Yes.
Which is unfortunate. Like, people were watching through the windows, like the rest of the wedding party. And I was, like, right there, but I still couldn't appreciate it. But I heard some sniffles. I heard some laughing. So, like, it sounds like it was really sweet. But I wish I could have really enjoyed that moment.
No, I can relate to that because I remember, like, coming downstairs at one of the weddings I was in, and everyone was crowded around at the window watching, and I was like, oh, what's going on? And they're like, it's the first look, and same. I did not get to experience that. Also, just, like, when the bride is walking down the aisle and you're up there already, you can't really see, like, their facial expression. You can't see, are they crying? You can't really, like, see what they're looking like. I have a funny story, too, though. I was in my friend's wedding, and I I think I might be wrong about this, but I think I was the third one from her. So I think it was her, 2 girls, and then me. So I was pretty close to her. Like, and this was up on stage at the ceremony.
Okay.
And we've talked about something similar to this on the pod before, when you start hearing screaming, but you don't know what's wrong.
What's happening?
And I start hearing screaming, and I was like, that doesn't sound good. Like, something is wrong. You don't want to hear
screaming at a wedding.
And I can't see anything. And come to find out, my friend, the bride's veil was on fire.
What?
So, yes, there were candles. There were candles on the stage.
So unfortunate.
And it caught on fire by, no fault of her own. I mean, she was just standing where she was supposed to stand.
Oh,
and
geez.
The good news is, like, her sister that was standing right there by her, like, saw it immediately and was, like, fanning it out. And, like, it was totally fine. I mean, it could have caught her hair on fire. Like, thank goodness it didn't. But, like, really her sister dangerous. Caught it. But here I am, completely oblivious.
No.
And everyone else, literally everyone else in the room knew what was going on except me. Like, literally everyone. And I was like, wait, what? What's happening? And so they fanned it out, and it almost ended before, as quick as it began. It was very fast. Like, it all happened very fast. But I was like, I'm so glad it wasn't me standing right next to her, because her sister's the one that saved the day. And I'm like, well, what if it had been me? And then I would not have saved that day. And she would have.
Oh my gosh. Really, I was worried that would happen, because my brother's wedding, like, they had this part in the ceremony where they had to hold candles, and I'm like, please don't let anything catch fire. Please don't let it.
I know. Well, I'm sure that happens more than we even realize.
Oh, yeah.
Because
that's
candles,
wild. Yeah. I know. Well, it's funny because, like, I don't, and probably, I don't know. I think it's part me as a person, and then part the fact that I can't really see. I don't really cry at weddings, and it's I don't really cry out of happiness that often anyway. I'm not, like, so emotional, moved a lot, but like, I also can't really see it, so, but I did have a nice moment where I was, like, the last to go in for my brother's wedding, because, I was, toward the, I don't know, right next to them anyway. But, like, I saw my brother was standing in the room with, like, his best man, and, like, I saw, like, he was, like, dabbing at his eyes. Aww. He was like, oh, so I ran in, I tried to make him laugh, and I'm like, shut up, you're not allowed to cry, stop it.
I do cry in weddings usually, but, like, I'm not, like, bawling. I just, like, lump in my throat,
shed a few tears.
Wet eyes.
Yeah. But it's fun.
Definitely.
Oh, man. So, me being myself and having an ostomy, I was going to talk a little bit about, like, how that has worked. So, like, and try not to be too TMI about it, but every time you talk about your bag of poop, it always gets a little TMI. But, it's funny because the way that my body has always worked, I'll have, like, breakfast and lunch, but my ostomy generally starts to, like, get fuller between, like, 2 and 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And, like, that's usually when I, like, go to the bathroom. But it's hard with wedding ceremonies because they're usually around that time.
Yeah.
And it's not like it gets so full, but, I'm wearing, like, a dress that doesn't have a lot to kind of disguise it, so I'm usually wearing like a tight-fitting bodysuit underneath, but regardless, like, I'm, like, trying to do my best to mitigate that. So it was really funny for my college roommate's wedding. Her ceremony was at, like, 5:30, and I had, like, changed my bag at, like, 2 when I had gotten into my dress initially, but then, like, we had, I don't know, like, 15 minutes before the ceremony, and I looked down, and I was, like, darn, I need to go to the bathroom.
Oh no.
And I like already had my bodysuit up and it's like so tight. So I like, it's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do my best. So I like ran into the bathroom. I'm like trying to shimmy without undoing my dress because those like hook closures in the back are so hard to get on. But I did it without any casualties, which is kind of amazing. But
that's great.
It was like that could have ended potentially badly, but realistically, because you're holding a bouquet, like you can kind of like I could kind of disguise it if I wanted to, but I just wanted to be comfortable. But I may end up having to just invest in a better bodysuit that like I can undo like snaps.
Yeah.
Because those do exist, but
yeah, that would be easier.
But yeah, anyway, so that and for my brother's wedding, their ceremony was earlier. It was at like 2:00. So it wasn't until like this, like the reception that I like before I ended up giving a toast. And so right before I did my toast, I was like, okay, I got to do the bodysuit shimmy again. But
I love it. I'm trying to think of like chronic illness related things for me at weddings. I think luckily I've been fairly like healthy at the moment of the weddings, except I have like chronic pain plus this shoulder injury. And I was on pretty heavy painkillers at my friend Audrey's wedding. Like, I'm not going to name any names, but think of like the heaviest painkiller that you could think of. And I was on that
nice.
At her wedding. But I felt like I was still like there. Like it's not
you
like I was
super
like
high.
Yeah, no. I mean, and I still was in pain. I like had to like, cause like weddings are long days. Like you get there very early, and like I remember like there was a point where I was like leaning on the wall, like, and I felt bad. Like I told her it was happening because I didn't want her to be like, why are you like leaning on the wall? But I also didn't want to like make the day about my issue, you know? So I was like, I'm kind of having this shoulder problem, but like it's fine. I think we have like a photo like the photographer took of me like awkwardly leaning, like I was like sitting in this window seat with my head against the wall, but overall like I don't look back on that day as like a painful day. Like I remember very good memories from it. But yes.
Yeah.
So going back, unless you have any more chronic illness things to say.
You might. Not exactly.
Well, no, you could go ahead, though, before we move on.
Okay, well, I'm thinking, so we also have a bleeding disorder.
Yes.
So, it was really funny because, like, the week before my friend Kristen's wedding, I got a really big bruise, like, on the top of my wrist. For a dumb reason. Like, I was, like, trying to sit down, and then I, like, fell backwards, and I hit my hand.
It's always a dumb reason.
It's like, so dumb.
Like, yeah, always.
And, like, I was really trying to get it to go away, but it did not go away. So, like, I have pictures from this wedding where you see a big bruise on my arm.
Love it.
And the same thing happened at my brother's wedding because the dress I wore for Kristen's wedding had these sleeves that hung down. And, like, I wanted to dance, and she was playing Paramore, and I was like, there's no way I'm not dancing to Paramore.
There's no way.
So I took one for the team, and then the next morning, my mom had gone to that wedding, too. So the next morning, my mom stayed with me. She was like, where did that bruise on, like, your right bicep come from? And I looked down and was like, that's where my sleeve hung.
Oh, my God.
The dress bruised me. And it was still such that, like, for my brother's wedding a week later, I had, like, tried to put on, like, concealer to cover up my arm bruise from the other dress.
No.
It's the most bleeding disorder thing.
That is so on brand. Like, only us will get a bruise from a dress.
It's so ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. It is so ridiculous. I love it. Except I don't love it.
Except it's actually terrible.
So let's like go past the ceremony, talk about the reception.
Yes.
Sometimes at a wedding you might have like a sit-down dinner, but oftentimes you have a buffet.
Oh, yes. The buffet.
The dreaded buffet. I mean, I like buffets, actually. I do. I like the choices, but it's dreaded because we blind. And typically at a wedding, there's like a long line behind you, and you're like going through and you can't see what anything is. You can't, if there are signs, you can't read them. If there aren't signs, you're like putting your hair in the food. No, that's disgusting. But like you're leaning down so far. And I feel like whenever I'm in the line, I'm like asking the person with me, like, what's this? What's this? And it's like the people behind us are probably like, why is she asking what every food is? Like, does she not, like, what's wrong? So that's always a treat. Have you ever, I did something recently. Have you ever gotten food at a buffet that you think is one thing and it's definitely not that thing?
Oh no, what happened to you? Absolutely. The answer is yes, but
it was like a potato bar, and I didn't realize that everything was potato. At this specific just at this one table, it was all potato, and I thought I was getting like a mini taco, like with meat in it.
Oh.
And I was like, this is not meat. What is this?
These is potatoes.
It was potato. That was at my cousin's wedding. It was good. I like potatoes, but when you don't expect it, you know, I'm like, I can't, because I feel like a lot of times wedding buffets are fun, different things, but it's like, if you can't see it, you're like, I don't know what this is.
This is mystery. What will I put in my mouth?
It's mystery food. Do you have the same experience with buffets? I'm sure you do.
Well, so interestingly enough, Kristen's wedding was like, it was like a buffet, but they had a catering staff that served the food.
Yes, that's how Michelle's wedding was too.
Yeah. So it was kind of nice.
They just put it on my plate.
I just was like, what's that? They were like, green bean. But yeah, I kind of hate asking what's that, because it makes me seem like oddly picky. It's just like, what is that? Like, I don't think I want that.
Yeah, I don't ask in that situation as much because they're just putting it on the plate. But I feel like when it's up to me to put it on the plate, I'm like, do I want this? Like, what is this? But no, I kind of, like it is a little easier when they're serving it to you.
I know. Well, and I don't have a massive appetite, so I don't want to waste food that I know I'm probably not going to end up eating.
Right.
But you know, it's always a fun time.
Oh, it is. It's always mystery food, and this is not just for when you're in the wedding. This is just going to a wedding. I've been to so many weddings I've gone to where it's a buffet, and it's like I am overwhelmed. And I had a friend once who like literally was just an acquaintance. Like I barely knew her, and she was at this same wedding I was at, and she was behind me like telling me everything without me ever asking what it like. I didn't even have to ask.
That's
she was
so
like,
sweet.
That's green bean. That's what it was. Literally when people do that, Cass, my heart. I don't forget it.
Singing.
First of all, I do not forget it. This was like maybe 5 years ago. I don't forget it. When people do things like that, it stays in my brain.
That's like a quick way to our hearts, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a quick way. It's a quick way to my heart, my very soul.
It's actually, it's so sweet when people just automatically do that, even if they don't know you, like an acquaintance, even if they don't know you very well. It's so sweet.
Yes.
I was also going to talk about, keep making this about me, but it's actually kind of interesting having a guide dog when you're in someone's wedding.
Oh, yes.
Because, like, I want her around, and I don't want to... The alternative is, like, leave her all day. And a lot of the times, if my parents are going to be there, like, usually if I'm going to be leaving her, like, all day, I would leave her with my parents, but they're going to come. So, it's interesting for... like these past couple weddings, I had Romana. My brother's wedding was actually in Arkansas, so we didn't really have a whole lot of options anyway. But I usually will ask the bride, like, hey, how do you feel about me having Romana? Because like if it's a thing, I can leave her at home. But it is interesting because for my friend Kristen's wedding, I had a date, and so I left Romana with my boyfriend, and then I went and like walked down the aisle with the groomsmen and stood there for a bit. But it was funny because like she kept like standing up and sitting back down, and I'm like, Romana, sit down, Romana. No. And I'm trying
she wants to follow mommy.
I know she wanted to stay next to me, and I like she wasn't that far away, so I was just kind of like trying to felt like I had a child in that moment. I was trying to motion.
Yes.
Sit down.
Yes. It literally is like having a child in the audience of the wedding, and you're like, please sit.
Stop it. But it was kind of tough because like I wanted to dance, and obviously like Romana wouldn't like that, and I don't need her for that moment. So I would like kind of rotate giving her to like one of my parents or my boyfriend, but also like I felt bad because then they couldn't dance.
Yeah, that is kind of hard at the reception, especially.
But at my brother's wedding, I just decided to chance it, and I was like, you know what, girl, just stay under the table. I will check on you periodically, and she did all right.
Wow.
You know.
Oh.
It was a smaller wedding too, so I think it was like a little less overwhelming to her. But for this last one, I'm actually not gonna bring her at all. Because my parents won't be there, and I was like, perfect, I will just leave her for the weekend and make it a little bit easier. But it is kind of fun because then she does get to be in the photos, and she's like part of me. So my friend Kristen was like, no, I want her in the photos because
yes,
you know, we all lived together, right? Like Romana was a roommate when Kristen and I were roommates, so like it was fun. But
no, I don't think it would look out of place at all for her to be there with you, like in the photos and everything. And like I do think overall receptions are easier than the ceremony to like, I feel like that's maybe true for everyone, because the ceremony, it's more like a performance, like,
yeah,
you know, and the reception, like, I don't know, sometimes they'll play slideshows and things, and I wish I could see those better.
Oh, they did that for my brother's wedding, and I could not see it at all.
I know, but I feel like overall, like, dancing is like fairly, you know, easy to do. I mean, and I do feel like that part is easier. I feel like the ceremony, there's lots of walking and steps and places you need to stand and be. But I mean, we've done theater before. It's kind of a similar thing. Like you rehearse it and then you stand. It's definitely doable. Like it's not impossible to do. It's just going to be different in every wedding you're in. Like every venue is so different that you kind of got to learn the venue, and you're being thrust into it so fast because you get there and it's like a 2-day event and it's quick and you're like, okay, like I'm going to be here.
Quick.
It's quick. It all goes by so fast, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, I've always had a good time, and I don't think any of these things should scare people from being in what. I mean, I do hate the photo. Like I find no redeeming quality in the photo part of this whole situation. Hard. It is so bad for us. Like I don't know a way around it. If anyone listening has like found a way around that, hit me up. But I don't think you have, because it's just bad. It's just bad.
I'm gonna be in a third wedding in July, and for the reception, I'm actually a little bit more worried about the reception at the very beginning, because usually in the reception, sometimes like they'll introduce the members of the bridal party before then the bride and groom come. Yes. And we're gonna do something similar. And my friend, she's been like super great, super proactive, just like a lot of the brides that you've been in their weddings too. So she's like, hey, like, is this gonna be okay with you? And so she kind of let me know in advance, like, hey, there's gonna be like a really big staircase that's like very kind of long and winding.
Oh.
And it's in a hotel with hotel carpet. You know hotel carpet.
Oh, hotel. Say no more.
Yes. So
hotel carpet.
I was like, I want to be able to do this, and I think I'm going to try and see, because I'm staying at that hotel the night before the wedding anyway. So I'm going to see if I can, like, kind of practice walking down it and, like, if that's okay. But if not, I was like, high-key, girl, I may take my cane, because I don't want to just fall down the stairs at this reception.
Oh, and I think that's totally understandable. I think that's totally valid. Yeah, like I've luckily never had to go down a whole staircase for. I've had stairs, but not a whole staircase for a wedding. But yeah.
So I will keep the pod updated on that, and if I.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a phrase that's not exactly appropriate to say on this podcast, but if I take a tumble, I will let you know, and we can all laugh together.
I pray you don't. I really don't want that update.
Right, but hey, it'll probably be fine. I was told that the groomsman is also going to be super chill and very helpful, hopefully.
Oh, so you will have a groomsman, like you're
I will have a groomsman. Okay. I hope I don't take him down with me.
Oh, I know. You'll have a long. It's a long dress, right?
It is a long dress.
Oh, good luck,
and
my
heels.
Love. May the odds be ever in your favor.
We're gonna do our very best.
Yeah. I did that thing. I did that in the most recent wedding I was in, where they like introduced us. It was funny because like we were walking in, and I was like, "Where do we go?" Like when we like walked into the room. But luckily, he kind of just led me to that table, and it was all fine. It was great.
That's fun.
But yeah, no, it's a fun time, and so we're gonna play. And it's going to be this or that wedding style, kind of based on our experiences having been in weddings, what we prefer. Okay.
Right.
For bridesmaids' dresses, do you prefer the ones that are matching or not matching?
So I've always really liked, I haven't, well, okay, yeah, I take that back. I've always really liked when we have maybe the same color and then we get to pick our own style. Yeah. Because that way everyone can pick something that's the most flattering for their body. That's kind of how it went with my brother's wedding, and I ended up being able to pick a dress that I actually really liked. And that looked good on my body, but that's not
looked great.
Always the
so
case.
Pretty.
Thank you, girl.
Yeah. I used to be a little more traditional, like they need to all look the same, because that's how it was, like, you know, even like 10 years ago. But I do agree, I like them to all be from the same place, but like that you can pick your style. I think that's a fun thing to let people do, especially for like different body shapes and, you know, like just knowing what style suits you.
Right. Everyone has a different body, but
right.
I was gonna ask, do you prefer to sit at a head table at the reception or sit at just a regular table?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess I like the head table just for the fact that you're like able to be with the bride and groom. But some people, if they don't really do a full like sit down dinner, you're not really at an assigned table and you can kind of just like walk around. So I think like there are pros and cons to both. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, so it was interesting. The two weddings have taken different approaches. Like on the first one, I was at just like a head table with the whole wedding party, and then my brother and his wife had like a sweetheart table, so just the two of them, and then the rest of the bridal party was just at regular tables. So I got to sit with my family, which was nice.
Okay, yeah.
But you know, again, pros and cons to both. Like they felt so far away on their own table, but you know, they also had to go around and say like thanks to people and whatnot. But then on the other hand, with the wedding party, I was on the end of the table. So I was really far from the bride and groom anyway.
Yeah. It was really funny. I was at the head table with my most recent wedding I was in, and I was sitting really far away from the bride and groom, and the bride was like, "Come over here!" Like, and she like made a chair for me to come sit close.
Cute. Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
Okay. What about? Do you prefer a destination wedding somewhere, or do you prefer to kind of like stay near where you are and not have to really travel for it?
I always really like a local wedding because I also like to see what venues are around my area. Yeah. There's always so many unique places. I really liked the venue that my friend Kristen chose. But there's a lot more planning involved with a destination wedding, but it is like fun. Like you get to be somewhere new you make a mini vacation out of it too.
Right. I would say so too. I would say I would prefer local just because it's easier to deal with. But obviously, I would travel for any of my friends if they did not get married near me. But I mean, I've never done like a beach wedding or anything. That'd be fun, but I've never been to that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of ceremonies, indoor or outdoor?
Ooh, indoor. Yeah, definitely.
Indoor.
Indoor, please.
Was it even a question?
No, it's not a question. Indoor.
We don't even have to play the do I need to wear sunglasses game. Or do I need to wear sunscreen with my bridesmaid dress?
No. Oh, yes. Yes. I forgot about the sunscreen, too. That's a good point. Okay, for music at the reception, do you prefer a band or a DJ?
I like a DJ because then I feel like I can sing along and you can make requests, which is also fun.
Yeah, I've had fun experiences with both. My cousin a while ago had like this awesome band, and they would like come down in the audience and like, or like in the pit of people dancing and like sing and like give up, like put the microphone toward us and we would sing, and it was like super interactive and fun. And like I have been to some weddings with some really fun bands, and you can request songs and get up on stage and sing with them and stuff. But I think a DJ is really fun because you do have more of a wide scope of music you can get to. It's like you could play literally anything, and the band might not know all of those songs that you want. So
full disclosure, I haven't been in a wedding with a band yet, but the wedding in July will. So I am curious to see how it is.
I feel like we're like on the TV show. Have you seen 4 Weddings?
Yes, I feel like I'm living in like 4 weddings right now.
This is what we're doing right now. Of like, well, I would rate their reception a 4 out of 10.
The cocktail hour sucked.
The cocktail hour didn't have enough hors d'oeuvres. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Gotta have those good appetizers, man.
This solid, like, hors d'oeuvres. Let's see. I was going oh my goodness. I didn't think this through. Oh, okay. Cake or dessert bar?
Oh, okay. Fun fact about me. I think I actually talked about this on another podcast we did, but like I'm the first one at the cake every time. I watch the cake cutting, not because I want to see the bride and groom, but because I want a piece of it immediately. But I definitely dessert bar, I think sounds, I don't think I've really like experienced that, but I think like that would be really cool because I'm not even a very big cake person. I just like want a dessert.
Same.
Like I'm not even super into cake. I just want something sweet. So like I don't know, dessert bar sounds cool.
Yeah, Kristen's wedding had they had so much dessert. It was insane, but they had a lot of different choices. Honestly, I didn't even get to like enjoy a lot of the dessert bar. I was waiting to try the cake because I knew that like they had been through the ringer trying to get someone to do their cake like a year ago. So I was like, I gotta try this long anticipated cake, but also like looking at the cake too.
Oh no, you're frozen. She's frozen.
Oh no, I think I lost her.
Right at the very end too, man.
Girl. No. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, girl. All right, we're back. We're back.
We're back. We're back. We're back.
Okay. I think, is it your turn? Yes.
Yes. No, I think weren't we only doing 3 each? I already did mine.
Oh, did we already do 3? Okay.
Yeah.
We did it.
Well,
we did it.
I went we did it. I went to a cake tasting for my sister's wedding though.
Oh, that's
that
fun.
Was incredible.
Oh, that's so fun.
So fun. Never forget it. And that's the main thing I wanted to do. I was like, I'll go with you to get the dress, but like, can I come to the cake tasting? That's what I want to do. So anyway, though, that's it, guys.
That's what we got.
That is our game. I mean, were you done saying what you were gonna say? I
did.
Like you. Okay, because I did not get to really reply. But anyway, that's fine. I love how we cut off literally at the very end of the episode because that is how this works. But we want to thank you all so much for listening.
And we will see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.